A man accused of luring 6-year-old Etan Patz into the basement of a convenience store with the promise of a soda in 1979 and strangling him was charged with second-degree murder on Friday, the 33rd anniversary of the boy's disappearance. Pedro Hernandez was arrested Thursday after telling police he was responsible for Etan's death. Hernandez, 51, of Maple Shade, New Jersey, was to be arraigned by video camera from his room at Bellevue Hospital, where he was in a secure wing. He was hospitalized early Friday after making comments about wanting to kill himself, police said. Etan disappeared on May 25, 1979, on his 2-block walk to his bus stop in Manhattan in a case that made New York parents afraid to let their children out of their sight and sparked a movement to publicize the cases of missing youngsters. He was one of the first missing children to be pictured on a milk carton. Hernandez, who emerged as a suspect just days ago after police received a tip, told investigators that he lured the boy into the store, then led him to the basement, choked him, and put his body in a bag with some trash about a block away. CBS News senior correspondent John Miller reported that Joe Lopez, the suspect's brother-in-law, was the person who brought the tip to New York City detectives, according to a law enforcement source. Asked by a reporter on Friday if in his mind Hernandez is the killer, Lopez said, "No doubt about it. He said he did what he did." And in the response to a question if it was a big relief, Lopez replied it was for himself and his family. Authorities never found a body, and Hernandez's confession put investigators in the unusual position of bringing the case to court before they had amassed any physical evidence or had time to fully corroborate his story or investigate his psychiatric condition. Police spokesman Paul Brown said investigators were retracing garbage truck routes from the late 1970s and deciding whether to search landfills for the boy's remains, a daunting prospect. Crime scene investigators also arrived Friday morning at the building in Manhattan, Soho, a section that once held the bodega where Hernandez worked. Authorities were considering excavating the basement for evidence. They were also looking into whether Hernandez has a history of mental illness or pedophilia. Brown said letting Hernandez remain free until the investigation was complete was not an option. There was no way we could release the man who had just confessed to killing Etan Patz. Hernandez's court-appointed lawyer, Harvey Fishbane, had no comment as he arrived at the courthouse, saying he hadn't met with his client yet. He asked reporters to be respectful of some of Hernandez's relatives assembled at the courthouse, including his wife, daughter, and another man, who huddled together on a wooden bench during a wet interview request for more than an hour. "It's a tough day. The family is very upset. Please give them some space." Crime scene investigators arrived Friday morning at the building in Manhattan's fashionable Soho section that once held the bodega where Hernandez briefly worked and where police said the boy was killed. Etan's father, Stanley Patz, avoided journalists, gathered Friday outside the family's Manhattan apartment, the same on the family was living in when his son vanished. Former Soho resident Roberto Monticello, a filmmaker who was a teenager when Patz disappeared, said he remembered Hernandez as civil but reserved and pent up. "You always got the sense that if you crossed him really bad, he would hurt you," Monticello said, although he added that he never saw him hit anyone. Monticello said Hernandez was also one of the few teenagers in the neighborhood who didn't join in the all-out search for Etan, which consumed Soho and the city for months. "He was always around, but he never helped. He never participated," Monticello said. Police Commissioner Raymond Kelly said Friday that investigators had yet to determine any motive for the slaying, but authorities said they have a detailed signed confession as well as accounts of incriminating remarks Hernandez made to others. But police have no physical evidence or a motive for the killing, something legal experts said could be difficult when prosecuting the case. "The only thing you have as of right now is a freestanding confession without any corroboration whatsoever," defense attorney Ron Kuby, who does not represent Hernandez, told WCBS 880 Steve Scott. And while juries tend to believe confessions, they want corroboration and they want a motive. And the fact is, at least according to what's been publicly announced, Mr. Hernandez claimed that for absolutely no reason he grabbed a total stranger, a small child, lured him downstairs, murdered him, then disposed of the body.